and this steel cage has been destroyed. One of the first times this was done was back during the Attitude Era in 1999. The main event of the first and only St. Valentine's Day Massacre show saw Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin collide in a steel cage matchup. The finish of the match featured the WWE debut of The Big Show, who debuted in the match to assist McMahon. Unfortunately for Big Show and McMahon, their plan was flawed, as when the Big Show went to throw Austin against the cage wall, the cage gave way, meaning Austin fell through and won the matchup. This was somewhat of a creative and unique finish to the match, yet it didn't exactly present Big Show in the best manner, as within 3 minutes of his debut, he had already looked incredibly incompetent. In 2006, during a steel cage match pitting Batista and Rey Mysterio versus Eminem, Mark Henry interfered in the match in an attempt to attack Batista. The idea was that Henry would break the lock and would enter the cage to ambush the animal. Sadly, the lock used wouldn't break, and it appeared that WWE had stupidly used a real lock. But thankfully, Henry was the world's strongest man, and he used brute force to break the lock apart and enter the cage. Due to SmackDown being taped, WWE were able to edit this down considerably, and whilst it was a botch that could have easily been avoided, it was an outstanding feat of strength from the WWE Hall of Famer. The WWE version of ECW failed to live up to the hype, yet it did create some iconic moments. Take for instance during the feud between Bobby Lashley and Vince McMahon. On one particular episode of ECW TV, Lashley was wrestling Hardcore Holly in a steel cage encounter, and when McMahon's hired gun completely lost it, as they'd never seen anything like it before. But this wouldn't be the last time in which Lashley would explode through a cage wall. When the former WWE champion collided with Omos in a steel cage match on Raw in 2022, Lashley was driven through the cage wall by the Nigerian giant. In a twist Omos didn't account for, Lashley's feet then touched the floor, meaning that the Almighty won the featured match. And then during the underrated feud between the Big Show and Braun Strowman, WWE would deliver numerous stunts and spots that made the fans go wild. After Strowman had defeated Big Show in a cage match on Raw, Strowman would hoist Big Show onto his shoulders, and then he slammed the 7-foot star through the cage wall. When Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns collided in a WrestleMania rematch at the Greatest Royal Rumble in 2018, WWE needed a way of keeping the Universal title on Lesnar whilst keeping Reigns somewhat credible. The cage wall then imploded, and it was ruled that Lesnar's feet touched the floor first, meaning that Lesnar had subsequently retained the Universal title. This finish, whilst clever on paper, didn't really work, as Reigns' feet visually touched the ground first, and the dramatic spot was heavily criticized as a result.